Hi folks, in this video we're going to discuss the 3 reasons why you need a red gun if you carry concealed. We talk a lot about concealed carry training and tips on this channel. We do stress training a lot, and while there is no substitution for live firing at the range, there are other ways you can practice your concealed carry techniques while at home. And that's what we're going to talk about today. Let's get started. This is a red gun, folks. It's a polymer training gun. It's not a real gun. It does not fire. This is modeled after the Shadow Systems MR920, so it's about the same size and shape as a Glock 19. This is my Glock 19 holster, one of them. It fits in this holster, so you can use this if you have a Glock 19. It will fit in your gear just like a Glock 19 or Shadow Systems MR920 would fit. This one has a detachable magazine. There's also an optional weighted magazine, which actually, when inserted, gives you the feel for how the gun would feel if it were fully loaded. So many of these polymer training guns do not have detachable magazines. So you can do a lot with this, and we'll talk about that in a few minutes. This one is made by ASP, or Armament Systems and Procedures. Now, this company has been around for a lot of years, decades. They've been providing training to law enforcement and civilian people for many years. If you're law enforcement or former law enforcement, you probably know them as ASP. For some reason, law enforcement and former law enforcement refer to this company as ASP. They make these red guns, which are made in the USA. They make expandable batons, tactical lighting, power supplies, OC spray, and other training devices like the red gun. Again, these are made in the USA, and they have different models available. What I really like about this is the detachable magazine. I want to thank ASP for sending out this red gun along with the weighted magazine so we could do a quick review and a video on the benefits of having one of these. Now let's get into the 3 reasons why you need one of these if you carry concealed. Reason number 1, dry fire training. If you've never heard of dry fire training, it's the act of either using your own firearm, unloaded of course, or some type of a training device for practicing. And essentially you're using either your gun unloaded or a training gun that's modeled after your gun for practicing all the techniques that are related to firing a gun, concealed carry, self-defense. So for example, starting with grip and stance and drawing from a holster if you conceal carry, you can practice all these things, trigger control and trigger squeeze, with a dry fire training device or your actual gun unloaded, of course. The advantage of dry fire training is it develops that neuroplasticity, which is the learning through constant repetition, otherwise known as muscle memory. So constantly going over the same techniques or same motions of firing your gun, drawing from the holster, whatever it might be, you're changing the brain, right? The brain is learning and adapting through repeated use. And you can get that through dry fire. Now, could you do it at the range, live fire? Of course you could, and that's the best way, right? Live fire training, because then you're using your gun and you're actually practicing. But with the rising cost of ammunition, that can be a problem for a lot of people. Sometimes the weather's bad. That can prevent you from getting out there and getting to the range to practice or to shoot. And with work, home life, family, everybody's busy. You can't always get to the range. With dry fire training, with a device like this, you could literally wake up and practice trigger squeeze, practice grip, practice drawing from a holster. And if you're in the confines of your own home or your office, I mean, it is red. So of course, anyone that sees you, hopefully they'll realize immediately that this is a training gun and it's not a real gun. With ASP red guns, again, detachable magazines. You can practice typical reloading. You can practice tactical reloads. You can practice malfunctions. You can do a lot with this. And again, the weighted optional magazine is nice. Gives it that feel of an actual gun that's loaded. Most of these training guns that I've seen do not have detachable magazines. Reason number 2, weapon retention training. I've talked about this in other videos, that if you carry concealed, you definitely should get some type of weapon retention training. That is training whereby somebody actually tries to get your gun from you. Now, if you've never had this type of training, if you've never had somebody actively try to take your gun from you while it's in the holster or in your hand, I guarantee you it's an eye-opening experience. Everyone should get some form of weapon retention training. I've had it in the state police, and it's a very eye-opening experience, because you might have in your head, no one's going to get this gun from me. But then if you have someone who's single-minded in purpose and they want to get your gun, you'd be surprised at how much work it can be to keep your gun in the holster or keep it on your person, in your hand, whatever it might be, if you've never had that type of training. It's a very eye-opening experience. I recommend that everybody who carry concealed get some type of weapon retention training. It could be as simple as an instructor showing you some techniques if somebody goes and grabs your gun or tries to grab your gun. It can be showing you a couple techniques. It can also be rolling around on the mats where they're trying to get the gun. You're in some type of a confrontation with them, wrestling match, and they either know you're carrying a gun or they realize while you're in the confrontation that you're carrying a gun, and they try to get it from you. So there's a whole range of things you can do with weapon retention training, but you definitely should get some type of weapon retention training if you carry concealed. Which brings me to reason number 3, CQB, or close quarter battle. If you're in a confined area, even let's use your house for example. So typically we would advise, if you're safe, if your family's safe, if you're upstairs for example, and you think or know someone's downstairs and they've broken in, the recommendation typically is call 911, explain the situation, go to your safe room or upstairs. If they know you're there, you might want to give them a warning. I have a gun, don't come upstairs. This is what we typically recommend. However, every situation is different. You may have a family member downstairs, and if you don't know that they're safe or where they are or where the bad guy is, you may have to go and find out if they're safe, especially if they're a child. You are responsible for their safety. You're responsible for making sure that they're okay. You may need to do that. So you may want to practice clearing rooms in your home for that type of a scenario. This is the perfect device for doing that. I'll leave a link in the description and also on the screen for ASP's website for these devices if you want more information on them. And please leave in the comments below if you have one of these already, or a similar one like a blue gun or a yellow gun or an orange gun, and you use these or you have used these. Feel free to put in the comments what you think of them, what your thoughts are on these type of devices for training. And if you like the video, please, folks, hit that like button and share it with as many people as you think will benefit or appreciate it. Also, consider subscribing if you're not a subscriber for more videos like this. Thanks for watching. Take care and stay safe.